Greetings, everybody. And this is your favorite Coach Sunshine. It is very early in the rising. And I was sitting here and I was just thinking about some things, remembering my grandmother who has passed many years ago now. My dad's mother, both grandmothers, well, I could say all my grandmothers have passed because I have step grandmothers as well. But they're all gone. They're all on the other side. But anyway, this one is about my dad's mom. And I was sitting here thinking about how I am and what I've become spiritually. And oftentimes I question myself, on a lot of things that I experience. I'm like, did that just really happen? Or did I just really hear that? Or did I just really see that? Like I question myself on a lot of things. Because it can be a bit scary. I can seem a bit weird to some people. I don't like to be too much in big crowds and around certain energies and things like that. I kind of separate myself. Whereas as an adult, I can do that. I can make that choice to do that. And when I was younger, I didn't have that choice. I had to be around people because I was a minor and had to do what I was told. But now I kind of stay away from big crowds of people and certain energies that I have encountered that I didn't, really feel comfortable around, even some that may be close to me. I keep my distance at times, but I was sitting here and I was thinking and remembering my grandma. And I remember the day that I realized that my grandmother was a psychic. I was a child. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I know that I was very young. And my cousin, who also is on the other side, she crossed a few years ago. But my cousin and I share a birthday. And I remember my grandmother and I were out shopping one day and we were shopping for my cousin a birthday gift. And literally, I was walking behind my grandma and I was kind of in my feelings, but I wasn't showing that I was in my feelings. I'm a Capricorn. I got a way of holding that, you not knowing what I'm feeling. But I was in my feeling some type of way that we were out shopping for my cousin a birthday gift when we both share a birthday. And I was like wondering, like, why aren't we shopping for me a gift too? Like, but, as a child, I'm not realizing it the birthday gift at that time was a surprise. I mean, my grandmother wouldn't have been shopping with me for my birthday gift. So I was just being bratty, actually. But I can remember thinking that. I was thinking, why are we shopping for her a gift? And it's my birthday too. I literally remember exactly what I thought it was. It was that exact thing. That's what I was thinking. So my grandmother, and I was walking behind my grandmother at the moment, she turned around, bent down, looked me in my face, and explained to me why we were shopping for my cousin a gift for her birthday. Blew my mind. My mouth could only just drop, like literally. I can remember being speechless because I'm like, did I say that out loud? I didn't say that out loud. I know I didn't. I didn't test my grandma. Like my grandma she's also a Capricorn and she just had this way about her to where you didn't test her because you didn't know what to expect. Cause as Capricorns, we always appear to be like some would say we have this mean look, but no, most of us are not mean. I mean, we probably can be, if provoked to it, but we're not actually mean. We just appear to be that. But because my grandmother had this about her, I never tried her, I never tested her, I never talked back to her. I never even imagined I would have never. So I know that I didn't say that out loud. And so as a child, in that moment, I was like, did she hear me? Did she hear what I was thinking? So, and as a child, I really didn't think too much further on that after that, except for I was careful what I was thinking when I was around her. I do remember that. But fast forward to adulthood and me, coming into my own abilities and learning different things and just realizing the upbringing that I had when it came to my grandparents on my dad's side. Like I remember certain things that probably would not have been conventional to other households. And I remember my grandmother sent me to be like the head of the household and not just saying like she had she worked in my grandfather didn't. Like my grandmother was a hairstylist. I really my whole entire life of her being in my life, I never remember her actually working any job. I know she was a nurse, way back when, but as for my whole entire existence with her, she only was a hairstylist. And so, which actually led to me wanting to be a hairstylist because I saw all the money that my grandma, was making. And I was like, yes, I want to do that. But I didn't know at the time it wasn't the hairstyling that was getting her money. My grandma was a working woman. Like she not like a working girl, like she wasn't out there, but she was doing that work. And she was in manifesting and law of attraction. She was into all of that. And at the time, I really didn't know. Like I saw I saw things, but I didn't know what I was seeing. So it was normal to me. It really became normal to me. And as I got older and I remember different things, and I started learning different things about different, secret societies I won't speak on, that my grandparents were a part of. Like I only realized that as an adult. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So now that as an adult and I know different things about those secret societies, and I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense." I can remember riding with my grandfather when he would take me to school, and each time he passed a police officer, he would, hold up this hand gesture, and I'm like, what is he doing? To me, it was weird. As a child, it was weird. But then, as like I said, as an adult, and learning different things about those societies, I now understand what that was. Now, do I understand exactly what the sign was, the symbol, the hand gesture that he was doing? I don't, but I now understand, that he was a part of a certain society, and that's what that was. Whatever it was a respect, or let him know who he was or whatever. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people who know me, who knew my grandparents, actually don't know. So this is news to them if they are listening to this video. But even my cousins, I know that they don't know, and it's actually just three of us that I know because we don't have a really big family on my dad's side, and we don't know the outsides of our family. Like I have no idea. I don't know anyone on my grandfather's side. I don't know I know of people on my grandmother's side, but I don't really know them. So literally it is just myself, my uncle, which is elderly now, and my two cousins and my and their children, because it's just us. Like we don't have a big family, but like I said, I know that they don't know this about my grandma. So hey y'all, this is what we grew up with. And I know that they didn't spend a whole lot of time around her, but as much not as much as I did, but yeah, this is what our grandma was and our papa was, and I feel like now that they're on the other side, and I know that they're my guides. I know when they're helping me. I know when which of my guides are helping me and which ones are really pushing me to do certain things. I kind of recognize that now, and so it's a part of my life now, but I don't know that it's a part of my cousin's life because, like I said, I know that they didn't know this about her. I know that they did not, and I kind of just figured it out as an adult. So I just wanted to get on here because I was thinking about that, and I had watched this video. Princess No Kid, she was talking about how when she was 20, she came into her abilities, and so she had to accept being in solitude. And I know that I get tired of explaining myself to people, explaining the fact that I don't like to be around a lot of people. Like I don't like I write it off as like social anxiety, and though I may experience a little bit of that, that is not all it is. It is I just that energy, too much energy overwhelms me. I'm an empath. I feel everything deeply. Like I feel everyone's emotions. If I'm in a nightclub or if I'm in a lounge and everyone's drunk, I'm like, I can lose myself in their drunkenness. So I don't want to absorb all of that different energy just being around it. So I tend to stay away from a lot of group events like that. And even when I do attend them, I'm heavily covered. Like I cover myself completely before I go out. And when I say cover, if you know, you know. Like I cover myself, and just sometimes I things slip through, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So I just choose not to attend certain events and certain places because my energy literally will not allow me to do that. And so I was just having a conversation not too long ago with one of my friends, and I was, just telling her because she was telling me that she actually was thinking that, like, she even mentioned that maybe I should get a check. And I mean, I was a little offended. I was a little offended by that because obviously, if you think I need a check, you think I'm crazy. But I do understand, like, I could come across like that if I'm always saying that this scares me or this one. And usually, when I say scared, that is not really what I mean. It's just a term that I'm using. It's not like a fear because I can honestly say I do not fear too many things. But um I can understand, from her point of view what that can look like. And when I always say I want to do something and then and it comes down to it and I don't want to do it anymore, it's because I do want to do it. But when I get told that I can't do certain things, and when I get told that, it's not someone physically telling me that, it's someone spiritually telling me that I certain things I just can't be a part of, I just have to listen to that. Because 9 out of 10, no, 10 out of 10, they know that it may be just one energy in that place that could be a danger to me, or could be looking for someone like myself to jump on or something like that. Like, I ain't got time for all of that. So, you know, me as Ebs the Oracle, because, those who know that I am also Ebs the Oracle, that is one of my brands. I do readings, but I don't do every in anybody's readings because I just don't like. I've encountered some energies that I didn't like, and I don't like that feeling. So, if I do a reading, I have to really vet a person before I decide that I'm going to tap into that energy and read them. And do I read people just because the stuff comes to me? I do. And it's not for sport, but things just come to me, especially if like one of my friends is dealing with somebody. I can kind of pick up on some energy on that. But I don't tap into too many people because, first of all, it's etiquette, spiritual etiquette. I just don't believe that you should be like invading people's space like that. But sometimes things just come to me, and it just come to me. And sometimes I know things and I just don't speak on them because it's nobody's business. Yeah, I don't really be wanting to know it, but I just, it comes to me, I guess, for future reference. If I might need it, I don't know. Sometimes it'll come and it'll go because a lot of times I get messages and I get it, and in that moment I know it, and then as quickly as it came, as quickly as it leave, and honey, it is gone. I can't even pretend to recall it because it wasn't me. But I was just like, seriously, just I came on here because I was in here in solitude, and I was thinking about my grandmother. I miss her in the physical. I miss her so much, and there's so much that I would like to, I wish I could have said to her physically when she was here. Although her last few years here in the physical, she had Alzheimer's and dementia, so she wasn't herself anyway. She had already, my knowledge and understanding of that is they have already crossed over. Their physical being is just still here. So when she passed, I was sad. I was sad because of how everything happened, and I won't get into that because, there were some things that happened that I didn't really appreciate. But I was sad about how things happened, but I know that she was free. And I'm happy for her soul to be completely, together, and with my grandfather and with my dad and with her other sons, my other uncles, because with the exception of my uncle that is still here, like all of my grandmother's children had passed before she did. And that had to be hard for her. And then her husband, it had to be hard for her. And like, so I was happy for her soul, but I was sad for myself, as in the physical. I was sad that I didn't have her here anymore. But she's always here, as they all are, and I gotta be honest, she doesn't come as often as some of the rest because she has a lot that she's doing. But and I understand that, but she's here when I need her. She's here when I need her, and I just got that she's always here, just not always speaking. Okay, got you, grandma. So yeah, and yeah, that happens too. In the middle of me speaking, I can give a message and be talking, especially when I'm talking to my friend. I have one friend that I literally can be talking to, and things that come to me, and I'll say it. Other people, I kind of try to be quiet, or if I do slip and say something, I try to play it off because not everybody know those things about me, and I don't want to be, looking crazy. But yeah, just thinking about my grandma and missing her. Every time I smell bacon cooking, I think of her. Sometimes I just smell it and I know that that's her because bacon reminds me of Sunday mornings at my grandmother's house. She'd be up and she'd be cooking. She loved her some bacon, really crispy and crunchy bacon. And so, and little things make me think of her, and I know she's there. I was just thinking about it, and I wanted to jump on here because I know I have never spoken of her actually, not in this light at least, and I don't think that this is anything like that she wouldn't want me to say. I mean, then she probably wouldn't have wanted me to say it, but now that she's on the other side, I'm sure she's okay with me sharing this information. So, and that also helps some people, understand me a little bit better. That especially on my maternal side of the family, where they think that this is just something that I'm playing with, or I'm faking or something like that. They gotta understand this is in me. It ain't on me. This is genetic. It is in me. Like, they don't understand the upbringing that I had separate from them. And it was normal to me because it wasn't made to be weird. And so a lot of things that I experienced was just normal everyday life at my grandmother's house. And I didn't know that of this, some things were not same at other people's parents' house. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the things that she taught me. And some things that she taught me that I don't abide by. Because my grandma also told me, because she had all boys. I have my dad, and then he had all brothers. She also told me at one time, if she would have had daughters, that they would be in what you call gold diggers. She would have taught them to go after of it and get it. And I was like, at the time, because I was an adult when she told me this, and I knew that wasn't in me. Like, I can't even imagine being a gold digger. I despise gold diggers because of how my dad passed, and it was at the hands of a gold digger. So I don't, I don't fool with it. I don't fool with it. But to each their own. I don't judge gold diggers. I just don't, I don't get down like that, and I don't really like to put myself in that energy. But my grandma was a firecracker. She was. She really was. I can remember stories that she told me about, because she at one point had owned an apartment complex, and she said one time this lady kept on stiffing her on her rent. And so, and this is back in the day, to where people wasn't, doing crazy stuff and calling the police on every little thing, which this, I think, I honestly, if I was on the other side of this, I probably would have. But she said she had went long enough without this woman paying her rent. So she went into her place and got her piece, her pow pow, and she went knocked on this lady's door, and she went in there and she pushed the lady down to the ground, and she stood over her and put the piece in her face and said, "I want my money, and you gonna give it to me, and I ain't even trying to get it." And I was listening to this story at the time, like, I can't even imagine this, because this is my grandma, that little old lady who don't even have a big voice. Like, she doesn't speak a lot. Like, I never really heard my grandma just talk. And she always had this expression on her face when somebody else was talking, like, "Would you please shut up? Like, I'm over it." Like, that's a Capricorn thing. But, we're listening. We really are. But, that expression ought to be on our face, child. So I can remember her being like that. So when she telling me these stories about, when she used to be that girl, like, it really was really shocking to me, but it was also entertaining because I love to hear it. And even when she got started having her, going into Alzheimer's, and her memory was going, she could remember things that happened a long time ago, but she couldn't remember things that were like short term. And I remember her telling me the story over and over again of how her and my grandfather got together. And I did not get tired of hearing it. I love to hear it. And each time she told me, I acted like it was my first time hearing it. Because to me, it felt like it, because I learned more and more as she told me. Each time she told me, it was more and more she added to the story. So, again, I'm just sitting here and reminiscing on my grandma and giving her love, and and everything that she done for me, everything that she instilled in me, even when I didn't understand what it was, I appreciate it. I give gratitude to her as a spirit and a soul. I love, 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 love you, Grandma, and this is for you. Like I really, I have a joy in my being right now. I have a joy in my heart right now just thinking about you. And I know oftentimes I catch myself and I'm apologizing, apologizing, apologizing to her soul because of, like I said, how things ended for her in the end. Like I just feel like that she didn't have, we already have a small, small family. And I feel like that I did my best. I did my best because I was taking care of her for a minute until it got too overwhelming for me, and I asked my uncle to step in, and honestly, I didn't know that he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So my grandmother ended up being put into a nursing home. So, when I say it hurts me on the end, her end times, like her last before she passed, that hurts me. And I always catch myself apologizing to her as a spirit and soul for that. And I always hear that she all right, and that she good, and I did the best that I could, like I did. Like my grandmother had bank bank. I mean, she's the richest woman I know. And I mean, when I say that personally, me as a person, she was the richest woman I knew. And so and I didn't know exactly, I didn't have no clue how much money she had until she was gone because I had got put over a few things. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, well, and I did not spend it. I did not. I didn't feel like that it was my place to. As a matter of fact, I was spending my own money taking care of her, with the exception of her utility bills. I spent my own money buying her food, buying her supplements and stuff like that. Like I was really not making much money myself, and at that time, and I was taking care of myself and trying to take care of my grandma. And it's sad. It makes me sad sometimes when I think about it. When I think about how she had all that money, but in the end, you know, I had to resort to taking care of her with my own money. And, that speaks for itself. I won't go into it, but, you know, money can make people change on you, and when you release power of attorney to other people, then, they don't always do the right thing. But I'll end this. It's going a little long. Just wanted to give my grandma her flowers and show my gratitude because grandma, I get it. Like I really can say I get it now. I understand. And I finally have arrived. I have arrived, honey. I've arrived. So, as the last that I know personally, I know there's other Miss Robbins out there, but in my family, my grandma was Miss Robbins, and everybody knew her as Miss Robbins. And so I take that and I stand in it. And now I am Miss Robbins, and I take that and I'm gonna do it well. I'm gonna do it justice, grandma. So I love, 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 love you. And I give gratitude for y'all sitting down and taking a moment and listening to my story about my grandmother. And I'm gonna end this video. Until next time, holla.